Hi, fellow broke aristocrats. It's me, Dr. Whimsy for Broke Aristocrats, and today I'm talking about cheap ways to see the world. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm especially excited because I'm planning a trip that's going to be taking me to London and Paris for about 13, 14 days, and I'm trying to do it on a shoestring, and I'm going with my big sister, so that'll be fun. This is a reward I've been planning for myself for about a year and a half, to give myself a special treat for getting out of credit card debt. Yay! I'm going to be out of credit card debt this month, and so my treat is a all expense paid trip to London and Paris. My sister and I will be flying out of Los Angeles, arriving in London. We'll spend a good 5-6 days in London. We may do a day trip and go to Cardiff, Wales, spend a day so that we can say we saw Wales. And then we will take the Channel, which is the train that goes under the water, will take us to Paris, and we will spend a good 5-6 days in Paris. And of course, there's a lot to see in both cities. This is my 5th trip to the great city of London, and it will be my 4th trip to Paris, because when I was younger, I had the opportunity to live in Europe and traipse around that part of the world, which I did for a number of years, and I had quite a bit of fun. So a lot of people ask me how I'm able to do these trips and do them affordably. And of course, if you're struggling with a lot of debt, then it can be something that you put, $10, $15, $20 a month aside for your dream vacation. You can put it in a sinking fund, and then when you do get out of debt, you can start to put even more money into that sinking fund. Then you can give yourself a real treat like I'm giving myself for getting out of debt, and that is a really great vacation. Right now, Europe is really, really cheap. Round-trip tickets. I looked at a couple companies online. There's bookings.com. Personally, I find the easiest one to manage is Expedia.com. And they also give you deals if you get a hotel combined with them. I've decided instead not to do that. So here's how I'm doing it. We're flying in to London and we're flying out through Paris. And I found tickets running, probably they'll run, everything said and done, taxes, etc., about $850. $850, $900, give or take. I think that's the going rate right now, just dirt cheap. I want to get a direct flight in and direct flight out, no stops. So that means paying a little bit more. But because I'm planning for 2 people, I don't want to put anybody else in an inconvenience. And if you're spending 24 hours flying and you save an extra $50, $100, $200, to me that's not a convenience that I'm willing to lose money on or to save money on. So I am going to pay a little extra to have a direct flight to and a direct flight coming back. And unless you're really young, I would advise you to do that, because flying into London is really exhausting. The direct flight we have is going to get us there in less than 11 hours. It's just so much faster than it used to be direct from LA. In the olden days, in olden times, I used to fly to Chicago, then transfer from Chicago to New York, and then from New York, I would fly direct to London. So it would literally take 23 hours, and by the time you get to London, you're just collapsing from physical exhaustion. So those days are gone, thank God. In terms of how to save money on the hotels, I decided to go to Airbnb. You can check out their website. I'm linking those below. I don't work for Expedia.com and I don't work for Airbnb, but I can tell you that both of those companies have saved me a pretty penny when I'm doing budget traveling. So I looked at staying in someone's home, Airbnb, and there were prices anywhere from 50 to 300 bucks a night, depending upon what you want. My tip, if you are planning on going to London and you are in good health, is to not base yourself in the center of London, because the subway system is excellent in London, and you can be way out in the middle of the boonies and still get into London proper in about 20-30 minutes. So there's really no reason to spend an extra 40, 50, 100 bucks a night so that you can be in central London. You're not accomplishing anything other than, oh, I only had to wait. I didn't have to wait 20-30 minutes to get there via the subway. So be willing to explore. My advice is, if you are planning this trip, be willing to explore other neighborhoods. There are some wonderful neighborhoods in England, or excuse me, in London and outside of London that you can literally be in central London in no time whatsoever and save yourself some money on your Airbnb if you do that. The first night, I sometimes want to stay close to the airport because I am so physically exhausted that first day. It takes forever to get through security, and I just want to collapse. And again, if I'm traveling with another person, I want to be considerate and mindful of what their energy is like. So I will often just, that first night, grab a hotel right there at the airport, sleep the first night, and then when we're feeling a little bit better, more energy, then we can go straight into London. But if you're feeling fine and you slept on the plane and you're doing okay, from there I recommend taking the tube, taking the subway. Don't overpack because you're going to be dragging your bags. Take a simple bag, 2 casual outfits, and 1 semi-nice outfit. I think slacks are great because slacks you can go to the theater and out to dinner, and they're versatile. So I pack light, and I take the subway directly to the Airbnb. Save some money there rather than taking a taxi or even an Uber. Then getting to Paris, we're going to take a channel. I think it's only $50 per person. These are really, it's so cheap now to go to Europe. 50 bucks, you take the channel. It literally goes under the channel and under the water, and it will take you directly to Paris for 50 bucks. And then when we get to Paris, we will go to another Airbnb. Again, there are great neighborhoods that are far out of central Paris. There's no reason to be in the center of Paris if you're willing to take a train and that takes you to central Paris. Again, 30-40 minutes max, you're going to be in the center of Paris. It's a great way to save yourself 30, 40, 50 bucks. If you're healthy and happy, why not just get a subway pass? Now there's an Oyster card that you can get to save money in London. They're called the Oyster card. Be sure and check that out. The other thing you can do when you get to Paris is you can buy a combination of unlimited access to museums with a 3-day subway pass. I think if you're going to be there and you really want to see the museums, it's a good deal. If you only want to see 1 or 2 museums, like just one day at the museum, it's not as good a deal. Some things there's just no getting around. They are expensive if you want to see Versailles, but the cheaper way to do it is to take the train directly to Versailles. In terms of food, because we're doing Airbnb, you can basically buy your own food and keep it at the apartment. We're renting in a room in an apartment to save money, and they are letting us use the kitchens, so we will have make our own breakfasts, our own snacks. We really only have to, in terms of spending money beyond that, we're only going to be taking ourselves out to maybe 1 meal a day. And that, again, saves us money. We're not going to be doing a lot of shopping. I think total price per person is not going to be more than $2,500 to $3,000 for 2 weeks. All expense paid. For everything you're doing, you can do the entire trip, Paris and London, for under $3,000 per person. Anyway, so I thought I would share my plans for my 2 weeks in Europe with my big sister to celebrate getting out of debt. I've been planning it for about a year and a half, and I need it. And so that's the broke aristocrat way of having a vacation. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think my sister, it's her first trip. I think that it'll be a trip to remember. Okay, thanks for watching. If you want to get some great tips for living a healthy, happy life without breaking the bank, or if you wanted to go to Paris and London as well, hopefully this brief video will give you some tips. Thanks for watching. Be sure and share, like, subscribe, and tell me what your vacation plans are. I would love to hear. Take care. Bye-bye.